the sun is very clear. And I can smell it in the wind, 'cause I guessed that it's the time. And I saw the way you grinned.
There was a group of kids playing urban bike polo, which is what we're doing out here, back in the late 90s. And then for a variety of reasons they stopped playing, but the mallets, they hung around and they eventually ended up in my apartment. And so I guess it was last August, we were getting ready for another bike event, the Little 100. And we decided that we were going to play bike polo that day. And we've been playing every weekend since, every Saturday.
How long does the game take?
It depends. So the games will go to 5 if you can get to 5 within 15 minutes.
5 what?
5 points, 5 goals, yeah.
Okay.
So it's either to 5 or 15, whichever happens first.
Okay. Then what happens? Do you change the sides or?
No. So the game is over and then you escape the court, and at that point the next game is going to get started up. So everybody who wants to play the next game throws their mallets into the middle, and then out of the mallets that go in, 6 mallets are chosen and then randomly selected and tossed to either side, and that determines what the teams are and what goal you're defending.
The mallet, the 6 which you play with, can you tell me what are they made of, and if there's any regulation on how heavy they're supposed to be, or how light they're supposed to be, or how long they're supposed to be?
Well, for the most part they're made out of ski poles. You know, I see a ski pole and I just see a future polo mallet. So we take ski poles, we chop the ends off, and then take 4 to 6 inch lengths of PVC pipe, about 1.5 inch diameter, and screw that on using wood screws, 2 wood screws to hold it in place. Length, we're starting to see a lot more longer mallets show up. People are really starting to appreciate being able to have that kind of reach. But some people still favor the small mallets. A lot of people are really moving to the small mallet heads too, because apparently you can score a lot more, you can shoot a lot more accurately with the smaller mallet head.
So the shorter one is much better than the longer one, except for the reach.
I actually prefer the longer mallets. I find I can do a lot more with them. I can reach around other people's bikes. I can reach back behind my bike. I can get a shot off that's way out in front of my bike. And you can, if you need to dribble closer, you can hike the mallet up a little bit higher.
About these different kind of polos, can you just name some of it?
There's horse polo. Apparently there's also elephant polo. I couldn't imagine that. There's 2 different sorts of bicycle polo that I'm aware of. There's the urban polo that we play, which is on concrete. It's very aggressive. There's minimal rules. It's basically just like pickup polo. And then there's an international, sort of semi-professional league. They play on grass. They have rules that far more closely resemble horse polo rules. It's designed to minimize collisions. Just a slightly different focus, I suppose.
Okay. What does the word polo mean? Where does it come from? What does it mean?
I have no idea what the etymology of polo is. Yeah. But as far as bicycle polo goes, I think what ended up happening, what I've heard is that while Britain was in India, they sent a whole bunch of bikes over to some political figure there. Didn't know what to do with them, so he just gave them to his stable boys. His stable boys watched people play horse polo all the time, so they wanted to play polo too, so they took the bikes and started playing bicycle polo. And then British soldiers brought it back to Britain and started playing it there. And it got to the point where, this was in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and by the 1910 Olympics, it was actually an exhibition game at the Olympics. Died down sometime in the 1900s and then experienced the resurgence in the late 1900s, like 1980s or so. Urban bike polo, I have no idea when that started. Probably about 5 minutes after the regular bike polo started, because you've got kids who don't have access to big grassy fields, but they can get on bike.
What do you advise somebody who's playing for the first time or who wants to join a bike polo?
Well, apparently we now do Thursday night newbie nights. So if you want to try out in a in a less competitive environment, then Thursday night is the time to come on out.
And where is that? Here?
That is here. It's always here.
That's Grandview
This
Park.
is our home, Grandview Park tennis courts.
What James hasn't told you about is that he is the slam crashingest, dirtiest player
Okay,
out there.
dirtiest maybe.
Follow this and watch him.
Okay.
Every crash will involve James.
Okay.
There might be a couple that I'm not.
Anything you want to add?
This is the greatest sport that was ever invented. There is a very sort of singular awareness that happens when you're playing bike polo. Your entire being is right here on the game, looking at that ball and the bastard who's trying to get to it before I do. And there's nothing else in the universe. And that's a powerful experience. So get on a court.
Bravo. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure it's cold here in the summer. I haven't got a number. But the sky is very bright. And the sun is very clear. And I can smell it in the wind. 'Cause I guessed that it's the time. And I saw the way you grinned. Yeah, you were giving me a sign.